All right, now everyone, let's move into kind of understanding table relationships in this second half of tutorial 2. But before we really go into creating those relationships of our tables here in our Chatham database, we probably should put some records into our newly created billing table. So let's go ahead and add some records into that billing table. First of all, we'll open up our navigation pane with our shutter button there, and we will double click on our billing table to open that up. And we'll go ahead and close the shutter bar here so we're working with more space. Just on a first glance of our table here, looks like we need to apply our best fit practice to some of these fields. Let's go ahead and place our pointer there to resize our columns and just double click. Looks like invoice date's a little cut off there. Maybe a little invoice amount. Alright, that looks good. So here in our first record, we're going to create that. So we're going to type in the values 35801. We'll hit tab. And for our visit ID, we're going to add 1527. And then next we're going to go ahead and add a date here of 11/10/15. And you can see because of the formatting we had for 4 places for a year, it automatically changes that for us to the 2015 date format that we need. We'll put in a value in our invoice amount of 100. You see that our normal format is $0.2 decimal places. So if we hit the tab, we'll see that those 2 decimal places are automatically filled in for us. Has the invoice amount been paid? And what is our invoice item? Our invoice item is just for an office visit. We hit the tab. Has the invoice been paid? Yes, it has. So you can click that. And now we have one successful record. We can use the arrow or our mouse, or we can just hit tab to go down to allow us for a new record. Now go ahead and add these additional 3 records into your table to reflect this data here. Let's go ahead and do that now. As you can see where we had the no values, we just left those unchecked. As you remember when we were formatting the tables, that is by default. So to have the yes values, we simply had to click in the checkbox. Now we're going to work on importing some of our records in from another area. And in this case, we're going to be importing our data from an Excel worksheet. So let's go ahead and close our table and move into how we import that data from Excel. So we'll close that. Of course, we want to save our changes. Now with that closed, we are going to click on our ribbon area. We're going to click on the External Data tab here. You'll see that there is an Import and Link group here. We are going to click on the Excel button here. As we said, we want to get information from Excel. And then you'll notice that we get the Get External Data Excel Spreadsheet dialog box to open up here. You'll see we have a Browse button here to try to locate the Excel workbook containing the data that we want to import. Obviously your path may be different than mine. I'm going to navigate to where my file is located. And then you see we have different options down here in this dialog box. I'm going to change my path. Now, as you can see here, we want the invoices, so you can get that from your student files there. So make sure that you get that one. And that is the file that we want to import all of our data from into our table. So once you select the file when you're browsing for it, we want to come down here and look at our options that we have listed here. And on these, we want to click the Append a Copy of the Records to the Table option button here. Now, this is the option we want, is the billing table. You can see we have our billing and visit. We want to make sure that we have billing selected for this lesson. Once you have that done, we want to click OK here. And then the first import spreadsheet wizard dialog box is going to open up. If you get the security message, That's okay. Just go ahead and click open. And as I said, you get this import spreadsheet wizard dialog box to open up. And this is going to confirm that the first row of the worksheet that we are importing contains column headings, as you see here. And the bottom section of the dialog box displays some of the data, not all, that's contained in our worksheet. I mean, you've got navigation scrolls here so you can move around if you need to, but we know this is what we're working for. And these look very similar to what we created, so we know the format's the same. Once you've confirmed that, go ahead and click the Next button here. And this is the final Import Spreadsheet Wizard dialog box. Now, note that the Import to Table box shows that the data from the spreadsheet will be imported into our billing table. Once you've confirmed that, go ahead and click the Finish button here, and you're going to get a dialog box open that asks if you want to save the import steps. Now, if you needed to repeat this same import procedure many times in case you're getting spreadsheets of the same manner and you need to do the same steps, it'd be a good idea to save the steps for the procedure. However, for this case, we do not need to save these steps because we'll be importing the data only one time. So once the data is in the billing, the person will no longer use Excel to track the invoice data because it is now in Access as it should be. So go ahead and click the Close button down here. And the data from the invoice worksheet has been added to our billing table. Let's go ahead and open that and view those new records. So we'll click our Shutter button here in our navigation pane. And we'll double click on our billing table to open that up. You can see we have a lot more records available to us now than what we originally had. Based on our look here, it looks like we need to apply best fit one more time, as our invoice item has some cutoff characters there. So we'll go in between the two fields. Our pointer changes, we'll double click that, and now we can see all of the invoice items that are there. As you can see, when we defined invoice item as our invoice number as our primary key, once you verify that you have 204 records, which is the correct amount, go ahead and save and close your billing table. Let's go ahead and go up to Quick Access Toolbar, save that, and then close that table. Now we're going to look at creating a table by importing an existing table structure. Okay, we'll take a look up here at our External Data tab, and we are going to look at our Import and Link group. We're going to click the Access button here. Once you click that, you will see that you get the Get External Data Access dialog box here. And it ought to look very similar to the one we used earlier when we were importing our Excel spreadsheet information. We're going to click our Browse button, and we're going to navigate to our Kelly database. And since I had all the information in the same folder, once I go to Browse, it's automatically there. So I'm going to double click the Kelly database to select that. Now I want to verify that I make sure that I have the Import Tables, Queries, Forms, Reports, Macros, and Modules into the Current Database option button is selected for this one. Now I'm going to click the OK button here, and I will get the Import Objects dialog box to open up now. And this dialog box contains the tabs for importing all the different types of Access database objects, tables, queries, forms, reports, macros, and modules. And the Tables tab is our current tab. You see we have one table in that database, and it's called Patient. Go ahead and click the Options button while you're in here. Now I'm going to take a look here at the Import Tables section of this dialog box. And this contains options for importing the definition and data, that is the structure of the table and any records that are contained in that table, or just the definition structure, so we just have the structure only. So we need to import only the structure of the patient's table. So go ahead and click that. And then on the Tables tab up here, let's make sure we go ahead and select our patient table there. Now we'll go ahead and click the OK button, and Access is going to create the patient table in our Chatham database here using the structure of that patient table from the Kelly database. So we're taking the structure of a table that was created in another database and importing that into our database that we're working on, so we have that structure and we'll create our own records. And it's asking us if we want to save these changes here. If we want to save the import steps in case we're going to be doing this frequently. We're not going to worry about saving those steps. We're only doing this one time, so we're going to click the close button. And in our navigation pane over here, you will see that right away we have a patient table that's been created for us. So we'll go ahead and double click that to open up the patient table, and you can see we have the structure but no records, which is exactly what we wanted to do.